Hi, guys. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a good Easter weekend. Hope everybody enjoyed my opinion, psyop over the weekend. That there. Right there. Put a pin in it. So, tonight we are getting into the new motion filed on behalf of Brian Cole Jr. Thankfully, looks like he has a great defense that don't want to play ball with cover-ups and patsies. Then we're going into Montana trip made by some of Charlie Kirk's security in October. Question mark. Was that trip a debrief or a plan for something bigger? I have made some connections. Hi. So I'm Cindy. Let's expose this together. Look around at the country that we love. Our own government, the one that's supposed to protect us, has been caught lying to the American people over and over again. They've sent our sons, daughters off to the wars that weren't really about protecting freedom. Too many of those wars were built on lies, and innocent Americans lost their lives just to cover up scandals or to make the government look strong. Even worse, there are serious cases where our own government has planned and carried out attacks on American soil, false flag operations to scare the public, gain more power, and boost their image in the eyes of the world. They create the crisis, then rush in as the heroes, all the while feeding us one lie after another. This isn't some wild conspiracy theory. This is documented corruption happening right here in the United States. The real question is, we should all be asking is how many more innocent lives have to be lost before we finally demand real answers and hold them accountable? That, guys, we are going to start with Brian Cole Jr. So his defense has filed a new motion, and I'm so thankful. Like, I've covered a couple shows on Brian and my opinion on being a patsy, and I'm grateful that he has a defense that is actually fighting for him. We have new information. Let's look at Brian. There's Brian. Always thought it was so strange. Brian Cole Jr., his mugshot with headphones on. Thought that was strange. When do you ever see people get arrested and are able to leave their headphones on? Oh, that's right. Unless they're possibly autistic and innocent. In my opinion, he is. So this is Brian. This would be Johnny Kirkhoff. Yeah, I'm gonna do that there, and then we're gonna get into show you theory. Right here. Ray. 1 second, guys. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. Start with this video of Dan Bongino doing an interview, obviously with Fox.
Before you became the deputy FBI director, you put a post on X right after this happened, and you said there's a massive cover-up because the person that planted those pipe bombs, they don't want you to know who it is because it's either a connected anti-Trump insider or an inside job. You said that, you know, long before you were even thought of as deputy FBI director.
Yeah, that's why I said to you, this investigation's just begun. We are pretty comfortable. We have our guy. I think as again, legal process starts to surface and information, facts start to come out, the public's going to be very comfortable with the investigation that was conducted under Director Patel and his leadership. He's been great on this. But I don't want to, you know, listen, I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. That's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space. But that's not what I'm paid for now. I'm paid to be your deputy director. And we base investigations on facts. And, you know, it was interesting. I was looking out in the crowd today at the presser, and I saw a couple of media figures who you and I both know who promoted the other scandal, the collusion hoax. And I thought to myself, you know, the difference between us and them is, you know, we evolve. As information and new inputs come out, we can produce different outputs because that's what we believe in. We believe in facts and investigations guided by facts. There were people out there in that crowd, I'm sure still believe in this collusion fairy tale hoax. So we'll see. We're going to be guided by the facts as this thing goes forward. Thank you all for being here for this critical investigation we've been working on for a very long time. We deeply appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words.
Oh, yes, do fix your hair,
General and Director. I appreciate it. Folks, this is what it's like when you work for a president who tells you to go get the bad guys and stop focusing on other extraneous things not related to law enforcement. This is what happens. We had a great team. I know it's said a lot in this business. It was a team effort. It becomes cliched, but cliches are useful for a reason because they matter. And this was a team effort. The director and the attorney general emphasized that it was not a new public tip this came from. This was our internal work at the FBI. And I want to just really express my sincere gratitude to this attorney general and this president for allowing us the latitude. I spoke with Ms. Bondi very early when we, maybe day 2, and I said, we're going to get this guy. And she said, yes, you are. And we did. I want to also thank, he's not here, but Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, who we deal with often as well, who could not have been more supportive. Whatever process we need, Judge Janine, Todd, and Attorney General Bondi, they were there. All you had to do, they were a phone call away. And their team was amazing. We actually never had to make that phone call because they were always responsive. Thank you, Judge, as well. You were amazing. Folks, you're not going to walk into our capital city, put down 2 explosive devices, and walk off in the sunset. Not going to happen. We were going to track this person to the end of the earth. There was no way he was getting away. Well, we didn't have to track him to the end of the earth. It wound up in Woodbridge, Virginia. I want to thank the team. They were amazing. They never let this go. Again, Attorney General Bondi, for your incredible support. Director Patel, Judge, I know they're giving me a lot of unnecessary credit, but make no mistake, they were intimately involved in this and were there for all of those supportive mechanisms, and I deeply appreciate it. The man whose team did the work is the Assistant Director in charge of our Washington field office, Darren Cox. Darren's got some comments, and Darren has some more details on the case he can provide. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Their facial expressions, it's almost like they appreciated being thanked and included in that bullshit, but also cringy. And for good reason. So that was Dan Bongino, and then we know that thankfully his defense attorneys have filed a new motion. Bring that up. Okay. Gonna be one of them days. Bear with me a second, guys. Okay, I think we got it. Sorry. So this is the motion. Defendant Brian Cole's motion for early return of subpoenas. Defendant Brian Cole, by through undersigned counsel and pursuant to Rule 17C, Federal Rules, Shawnee Kirkhoff was named as a person of interest in the January 5th, 6th, 2021 pipe bomb investigation. Ms. Kirkhoff was a U.S. Capitol Police officer on January 6, 2021, and was present at the Capitol on that date. Ms. Kirkhoff now works for the Central Intelligence Agency. According to discovery produced by the government in this case, the FBI began investigating, questioning, and covertly surveilling Ms. Kirkhoff during the time it began investigating Mr. Cole. On November 6, 2025, Ms. Kirkhoff was interviewed by the FBI and took a polygraph examination. She was asked two relevant questions. One, did you place those pipe bombs? And two, did you place those pipe bombs that evening? Ms. Kirkhoff failed the polygraph. The FBI polygraph examiner noted Kirkhoff's very controlled reaction to the news of her failing the polygraph and seemingly rephrased responses to the examiner's questions. On November 7th, 2025, 5 days before FBI opened a file on Mr. Cole, the FBI named Ms. Kirkhoff as a person of interest in the pipe bomb investigation and opened a file on her. The government immediately issued subpoenas and preservation requests for numerous electronic accounts associated with Ms. Kirkhoff on November 12th, 2025, the same day the government officially opened its investigation into Mr. Cole. FBI agents attempted to question Ms. Kirkhoff and Mr. Dickert at her residence. The next day, the FBI interviewed Ms. Kirkhoff's dog walker. The following day, Ms. Kirkhoff and her boyfriend, Daniel, also came to Capitol Police. Also a Capitol Police officer, were interviewed together by the FBI and AUSA. Valentine. Throughout November 2025, the FBI interviewed Ms. Kirkhoff. Coworkers at the Capitol Police, her neighbors, failed her without her knowledge, requested her employment records from the CIA, sent surveillance footage of her walking to the podiatrist, likely for a gait analysis. Mr. Cole was arrested on December the 5th, 2025. The FBI closed the surveillance lead on Ms. Kirkhoff on January 7th, 2026. Mr. Cole requests the issuance and early return of 3 subpoenas relevant to Ms. Kirkhoff. A subpoena to Ms. Kirkhoff for the video of Ms. Kirkhoff's dog taken at her home, with her voice allegedly in the background, purportedly from the evening of January 5th, shown the FBI agents by her boyfriend in November 2025, and any other photo, video, or audio created in the same device on January 5th, 21. So already they closed this down so quick, and we didn't hear none of this. I mean, we heard bits and pieces of it and caught some of it. I know I did. I knew I had her picture, but I didn't know what her name was until this motion was filed. And like I said, right from the rip, they picked up the poor autistic guy, and he was just gonna take it for them. I mean, it's just, if this does not piss you off, I don't know what else possibly can be said here. Oh, the identity of the phones on which the dog video was stored, Miss Kirkhoff's employment records from the CIA in her possession, her offer letter from the CIA, and her standard Form 86 questionnaire that she completed for her job at the CIA. Documents provided by Ms. Kirkhoff to the government as part of the pipe bomb investigation. Ms. Kirkhoff's home camera recordings from January 5th through the 6th, 21. Communications between Kirkhoff and her boyfriend, January 5th through the 6th, 21. The identity of electronic devices used by Ms. Kirkhoff from December 15th, 2020 through January 8th, 21. Documents reflecting Ms. Kirkhoff's work schedule on January 5th, 2021. Communications between Kirkhoff family members with... So, in other words, can you please hand over the investigation that you were originally doing before you decided to, make Brian Cole a patsy, in my opinion, allegedly. So they're demanding it, and the the government is trying to hold the defense in contempt. What better way than to bully them? A subpoena to Daniel Dickert, Kirkhoff's boyfriend and U.S. Capitol Police officer, for the video of Miss Kirkhoff's dog taken at his home with her voice allegedly in the background, purportedly from the evening of January 5th, 2021, shown to FBI agents by him or Miss Kirkhoff's in November 2025, and any other photo, video, audio created on the same device on January 5th, 2021. Identity of the phones of which the video was stored, Dickert's home camera recordings from January 5th, so on and so forth, and again, the January 5th, 6th pipe bomb investigation, and any other photos purporting alibi for Miss Kirkhoff's whereabouts on the 5th. And we got number 3 here, a subpoena to Dr. Michael Nirenberg, DPM, for documents and communications concerning any foot gait analysis performed of Miss Kirkhoff, and documents and communications concerning any other foot gait analysis performed related to the January 5th, 6th, 2021 pipe bomb investigations. And then you got the legal standard and argument. That's just a bunch of the federal codes and all that you don't want to hear, I'm sure. First, the requested documents relevant to Ms. Kirkhoff's are evidentiary and relevant. The question is, at the issue in case, is whether Mr. Cole constructed and placed the pipe bombs outside the DNC and RNC. The FBI identified Ms. Kirkhoff as a person of interest in its investigation at the same time it was investigating Mr. Cole. The government questioned Ms. Kirkhoff, her boyfriend, others who knew her, issued subpoenas, preservation requests for her electronic accounts, polygraphed her on whether she placed the pipe bombs, which she failed, and surveilled her without her knowledge. Mr. Cole maintains his innocence and preserves the right to present at trial that Miss Kirkhoff, not Mr. Cole, placed the pipe bombs. It's just the beginning of it again. Aw. Couldn't join. Was family time. I'm lost in that conversation, apparently. So, I don't know about you, but I feel good to know that Brian has a defense that is fighting for him, and they're not willing to back down, even being threatened to be held in contempt. And I knew, in my opinion, allegedly. But let's, stick it to the poor autistic kid. Man. Really disheartening. It really is. To think that, or attempt to. Now we could only hope that Tyler Robinson's defense doesn't back down and does the same for him, because it seems to be an ongoing pattern. No end. Sorry. Use Candace first. Just for the introduction. The Montana.
And also, I don't care. Take his money. Like, I want you guys to be successful. Like, I am not insecure in me and Charlie's friendship at all. If he's gonna have his friends go after, trying to make it look like me and Charlie aren't friends. So it was interesting to me to learn that Nelda Buckman, and I'm not saying that she necessarily was the person who put the pressure on it, but it's interesting to connect that dot, because it was particularly about this documentary that Andrew Colvett called me about. And he said, Charlie has to do this interview now with Ben, and that's what's happening. No big deal. What we can be certain of, again, that's just speculation, but what we can be certain of regarding Nelda Buckman is that she is an executive producer. She's also an artist. She's also a philanthropist. And like Erica, which is the compelling part here, she has done extensive work with foster children and in particular sex trafficking victims. Okay, Nelda works with National Angels. So it's like there's all of these different regions, Austin Angels, New Jersey Angels. She works with all of them to help foster children. Okay, I don't really have a gripe about that. I think I have shared, my mother spent time in a group home. There is a need. I am particularly open to the fact that there is a need and that the system is not great. But, and this part I would say, concerned about. It doesn't mean I'm concerned about Nelda, but this project in general existing gives me.
We're not going to listen to this whole thing, but I am going to let her. This is what got me onto the rabbit hole and to dig in. Thank you, Candace.
Pause and gives me concern, because Nelda is one of the largest donors. She might even be the largest donor to Courage House Nevada. Okay. I don't like anything that happens in Nevada. Blackmail rings. There's a lot of stuff that happens. Las Vegas, obviously. And this nonprofit, which advertises itself as providing safe homes for child sex trafficking survivors, and per its website in April 2025, it purchased a 40-acre property in Washoe County, Nevada. Okay. It planned to house 6 resident children. That's a lot of space for 6 children. All of these children are female. And it should be noted that this is a psychiatric residential treatment facility. Different powers for the state if they say you're a nutcase, okay? They can just do things and keep you. And that's immediately upon its opening that November. This is the goal, a 40-acre property, as you see, and we're going to house 6 girls. And it has a capacity for 18 as cottages are being built. That's their long-term goal, is to provide care to 12 more children, total capacity 18 across these 3 cottages. Again, 40 acres for 18 children feels like a lot to me.
So this was months ago. She introduced the Buckmans, which I have been going down that rabbit hole for quite some time. And finally started producing some results. And then let's go over to Barron, and get the tie to Montana.
We have an update from Fairy Lake. This is Rick Cutler, a missionary, Guatemala, Central America. Whoever leaves houses or families or fields for my sake will inherit eternal life. This is my understanding. This is Rick Cutler's Instagram page. I don't know. But that is Rick Cutler right there, allegedly, in front of Fairy Lake. It looks kind of cold. And so I was sitting here thinking, well, that's interesting. I don't even know the real name. All I have is the email address. But I'm not giving that out on the air. But they graciously highlighted that this profile picture was updated October 7th, meaning it was taken before October 7th. And a lot of times when people update their profile picture, they take it, relatively recently. Well, can you still tell it's Fairy Lake just from the fact that he has the updated profile picture? Well, yes, because right here we have, where is that? About had a heat stroke today. Fairy Lake, Montana. Well, he said Fairly Lake. I can assure you there's no such place. There is a Fairy Lake, and it looks exactly like that. So they're saying absolutely beautiful. Again, he updated that picture there, and he was at that location relatively recently. So, and if you couldn't figure it out, we're going to zoom in there. Fairly Lake, Montana. We all know that's Fairy Lake. So we know Rick Cutler was at Fairy Lake on or before October 7th, in that area right there. So hold that in your mind. Don't go away from that quite yet. Because the next piece of information is shocking, but I have to set it up. I have been trying. Hold on. There's no RBC live stream right now. Is that true? Is this true? Microphone. Now, here's what we don't have. You guys remember, I'm going to come back to Butch in just a second. There's a lot more Butch to be seen here. You guys remember a week or so ago, Candace Owens, maybe just a couple days actually, time goes so fast. Candace Owens put out a video or a picture, a still frame of a picture of Charlie Kirk from behind. This was the disputed image that Terrell Farnsworth went and got the SD cards and pulled them out. Do you remember at TPUSA? Well, here's a Danny who works at TPUSA. Is that who Mikey McCoy was talking to? But that's Butch Hibbs. The interesting thing about these two, and I can't play it because YouTube freaks out anytime you play video from that day, particularly the closer you get to the Big Bang. But the interesting thing about this is from an angle where you can see these two at the moment of the Big Bang. Neither flinches. It doesn't look like it's there. Well, how do we know any and says, it's the first time I'd ever heard Jack Hibbs' name. Frank Turk goes on his podcast and he says, Oh, the guy in the middle, man, you should see this pic. And he puts a picture up on the screen. He goes, the guy in the middle right there, that guy in the middle, that is Butch Hibbs. That is the brother of Pastor Jack Hibbs. And everybody's supposed to be wowed and awed. It was lost on me. It was totally 100% lost on me. But you know what wasn't lost on me? Now, I will scroll back. I want to remind you about Rick Cutler being on Ferry Lake on October 6th. I want to remind you of Rick Cutler being on Ferry Lake on November 6th or October 6th, or at least having his picture taken on October 7th. Guess who else was on Ferry Lake at that exact same time? Would it shock you to know that it was actually Burton Hibbs, a.k.a. Butch Hibbs? Butch Hibbs?
As you see, October the 6th.
Taking a picture at the same place, in the same location, at the same time? That's really odd to me. That's really odd to me.
Me too.
Why are these two people, both of whom, in my opinion, that I believe, both of whom had never been to a Charlie Kirk event before, both of these people are in the same place in a state neither of them live in a vacation spot that's not like hugely, it's not like they're both in LA at the same time, right? They're not both in New York, and you could go, yeah, but so were 25 million other people that day. No, they were both at Ferry Lake. Ferry Lake, again, is not a monumental, massive place. Dallas, I get that. I'm telling you, I believe this is really solid. And I would be shocked if he denies he was in Bozeman, Montana on October 5th.
Talking about Brian Hartful.
But if he
I
was,
skipped
I'll
past it,
correct it.
sorry.
If he can prove he was somewhere else, I'll be happy to correct it. I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. So I'm going to, in my opinion, proceed with my next conclusion here. It is my opinion, in analyzing the fact that Butch Hibbs is on a tiny little vacation destination called Ferry Lake, that none of you, be honest, not a single one of you knew this place existed before tonight. Butch Hibbs is there. Rick Cutler's there. They both established that they were there. Unless these pictures are fake and someone faked them and sent them to me. You know, I don't believe they are, though. And now you have Rick Cutler, Butch Hibbs, and Brian Hartpole. Now, I don't have Brian Hartpole at Bozeman, at Ferry Lake, but I have evidence he was just a few miles away in Bozeman the day before at the airport. So let me do a map here. Bozeman Airport to Ferry Lake, Montana. How far is that? That is 35 miles. That is the airport you would fly into if you were going up to Ferry Lake, or if you were staying somewhere near there, Bozeman Yellowstone International Airport, and you wanted a vacation up at Ferry Lake. Now, I don't know why these people do these things.
They always seem to get caught, though. Before I move on, sure. Allow me. Butch Hibbs Instagram. Doing what? Little drone time. Be pretty good at it. me switch over. Hopefully. No. This thing hates me today, I swear. Okay. Okay. Had to get Ray. Just gonna say it. So this I submit to you is sold on August 6th, 2025. And was purchased by Nelda and Carl Buckman in Idaho. Cash purchase. Remember that date, August 26th. As you see here, Nelda, Carl Buckman, cash purchase, August 6th. That location. This is another one that was and is in New Brunswick. New Brunsvilles, Texas. Active. Public record. Rob's Run. See there, the registration date was 9/5/2025. Carl Buckman. Cash purchase August 7th, 2025. That too. Have Rob's Run LLC on September the 5th, 2025. Show you this is Brad Buckman. Is I believe Carl Buckman's brother. And as you can see, he's the director of sales at Crazy Mountain Ranch. Crazy Mountain Ranch is 18,000 acres working ranch with golf, lodging, dining, and outdoor activities in Montana. It offers limited and invitation-only membership of the recreational use of the club facilities and ranch amenities. Here's a site map. Still fishing, cabin, and all that fun stuff. from Crazy Mountain Ranch. Fly fishing. That's a bigger view of that massive Crazy Mountain Ranch. And as you see here, Crazy Mountain Ranch actually has an airport. So I thought to myself, what are the odds? What are the chances that such a short distance away from where these people are on October 5, 6, 7? So did they go there to debrief, or did they go there for more planning? In my opinion, allegedly. This is a private place. You cannot just 18,000 acres of private facility. Easy for people to fly into and not be seen. So, in my opinion, Fairy Lake maybe most likely is on here and just could be a name. And then that brings me to, so 5, 6, 7. We know those are the dates. We don't know exactly everybody that was there, but we know definitively from pictures Rick Cutler and Butch Hibbs. Brian Harpole, he was at least in Bozeman, which this is Bozeman. Right? No, you don't suck. Look, not everybody with a ranch has bad intentions. But I mean, this is a exclusive membership only cool kids ranch with a airport and all. It seems to be a big coincidence, right? I mean, odd that the Buckmans have cash purchases all around for 3 different facilities, 2 in Texas, 1 in Idaho, currently building 1 in Nevada, all in that timing of Charlie Kirk, in my opinion, allegedly. Not accusing anybody, maybe they have great intentions. Super duper awesome intentions. And then the brother of Carl happens to be, I believe, part owner, if not owner, of Crazy Mountain Ranch. And then we have them meeting up close too. So they have the flight information. I don't do the flight thing, so maybe they can see this and hopefully check. You walked into 6, 7, yeah. I did that whole time I was doing this. I'm like 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, because those are the days. Easiest way for me to keep it up. But very strange, yeah. Disturbing. I mean, in my opinion, allegedly. And all within August 25th to September the 10th. And then Nelda was in Florida with Erica after. No airport at yours. Well, then you might not be so sus then anyway. Probably best not to have an airport. Just saying. Probably best. So that brought me to then starting to think, why a whole month would they be? I mean, a debrief, that seems like a long time. Wait for a debrief. But what I do know for certain is that on October the 10th, Accurate Energy Systems was leveled in Tennessee. So we have them 567 October. And then I'm not saying it's a connection, but 567, and then October 10th, the plant is back to purchase order 2. Possibly, maybe, allegedly. Which, by the way, 16 people were killed in that plant explosion. As you see here, 67, 67, 67. Ray, 67. Get everybody. Everybody should be doing 67 right now. Just saying. Anybody that is cool, 67. So this from Accurate Energies on UC 422.25. $440,494 requirement is for miniaturized XS demolition charges and demolition charges anti-personnel XS to support SPM. So, I mean, I'm not like all explosive-y knowledgeable, but 67. I did talk to, and as most people know, the theory is that Charlie Kirk was probably, it was maybe an explosive in his mic. Here we have the DO, well, it's not, as you see at the top here. This was not a federal account, but it was used to get it there. And I submit to you that this in particular is used for people. Like, they have multiple different kinds, and this one in particular is to, you know, I guess for military, blow people up. I don't know. But you can make small, you know, extra small shape charges. So we know that that purchase order was done. And then for some reason, Don Bray comes out on X and starts giving the theory that his mic exploded, his lapel mic. And I don't remember the exact days after. I mean, in my opinion, allegedly, it would stir up, hey, oh shit, guys. Hey, let's meet in Bozeman. And then plant is exploded, killing 16 more people. Or the purchase order. So you can see it is Accurate Energy Systems in McEwen, Tennessee. I am from Tennessee, live in Tennessee, not in Tennessee, but from there. I live there, just not there now. And then we have her. And I'm not, by no stretch of the means, am I inferring, because I have not connected her to the plant yet. But this is her obituary. Heather Michelle Johnson Thompson, age 32, of Waverly, Tennessee, which is just right there from McEwen. Passed away Friday, January 2nd, 2026, at her home. She was born on August 13th, Dixon, Tennessee, to Lori and Randy. And she is a member of the Pipe Fitters Union, Local 572. Heather demonstrated her commitment to her craft and unwavering dedication to her professionalism. She served honorably in the Army National Guard, exemplifying courage and resilience. So pipe fitter. She's Army. A guard. I mean, 31, 32. And sadly, as the story goes, get to the article. Where is it? Who knew? Authorities found preliminary evidence that suggests Heather may have been responsible for killing her sons and grandmother before unaliving herself. Humphrey County Sheriff Chris Davis was emotional as he addressed the incident, noting that he knew the family and they had lived in Waverly their entire lives. Referring to an explosion that happened recently occurred in the county, killing 16 people, Davis said, "Here again, small town America. Here again, I know the families, so we're going to do right by them. We're going to respect them. We're going to do right by them." The sheriff said that he was unaware of any call history at that home, but added that they are following up with the school system and other state agencies as part of the investigation. And again, I will stress to you, I am from Tennessee and live in Tennessee. I'm just not there right now. So, unions are very rare there. It's, in fact, I'm going to just give you the statistics so that nobody can bully me about inaccurate facts. So, why Tennessee has fewer union jobs? Because Tennessee is a right to work state and has laws. Tennessee has the right to work, meaning you can't be required to join a union to work somewhere, and that makes unions weaker overall. Industry mix. Northern states historically had or have heavy manufacturing, steel mills, auto plants. Those industries equal strong union roots. Tennessee's has more newer manufacturing, logistics, warehouses, and service jobs. Though these are less unionized overall. Culture politics. The South, including Tennessee, tends to be less pro-union culturally. Fewer organizing efforts succeed compared to northern states. But union jobs do exist in Tennessee. They're just more clustered, not everywhere. Skilled trades, electricians, pipe fitters, utilities like Tennessee Valley Authority, some auto manufacturing like Volkswagen or GM in Spring Hill. Government jobs. Those are the big ones in Tennessee. So not a lot of union there. In fact, Tennessee is highly anti-union. They don't much care for the union. So you come to what conclusion you must with that. This is Heather. So this is a story by Daily Mail. It started longer. I just didn't think we needed to do the whole thing. But what I thought was super interesting, on October 10th, 2025, Accurate Energy Systems and Explosives Factory that sits on the border of Humphreys and Hickman counties detonated. More than 24,000 pounds of explosives, killing over a dozen people, 16 to be exact. So, does anybody see what I see there? Just out of curiosity. Jesus, Bill. Pipe fitter, a ranch. Do not say that you are a New Brunsville. New Brunsvilles. So does anybody pick up on what I picked up on? And I could just be nitpicking, but my husband nitpicked it too. Created again on October 10, 2025, Accurate Energy Systems, an explosive factory that sits on the border of Humphreys and Hickman counties, detonated more than 24,000 pounds of explosives, killing over a dozen people. I'm going to go with the key word here is they detonated. Is that not a term for they detonated it and that it wasn't an accident? Good. Good to know. So the cause of the blast remains unknown still, according to the press release from Humphreys County and Hickman management agencies. The Accurate Energy Systems manufacturing plant is approximately 18 miles where the murderous unaliving of Heather Thompson's family took place. Wrong way. This is Heather's husband that was, I'm just going to speculate here. Maybe they were separated. No evidence pointed to any others being involved. Have not released motives at this time. Jeremiah Thompson, children's father, who was estranged. Yeah. So that would be the father of the children. And I will submit to you that she has absolutely no family. Like, everywhere I searched, her sister died years ago. She had no mom and dad. They are gone. So there is nobody. Nobody. Again, just something I thought was strange and anomalous. It seems weird, as does everything else. And if I'm not mistaken, somebody has, and Bill, you might know, somebody has, I believe, Butch on a flight to Tennessee. Don't quote me on that, but again, all just seems very weird and should be looked into. Like, I'm saying this needs to be looked into. This is not right. And then how about that? How about the wonderful, amazing tweet or post for Donald Trump? Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up in one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the fucking strait, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. Signed, President Donald Trump. And he's so amazing. Like, truly. All right. We get out of there. Can't make this up, can we, guys? Not. Oh, no. Yes, Ray. You could help your mummy. I effed it up. Oh, please. Boom. Yes, she won't get on camera. But do you want to know what she's in here giggling and telling me? She ordered Taco Bell. And apparently, the Dasher has wrecked outside our house. So at the end of the driveway, we got the police and all kinds of craziness going on there. But the Dasher is okay, guys. That was some much needed and wanted Taco Bell, yeah? The girl cannot live without her Taco Bell, man. Oh, Jesus, it's not funny. Stop it. Terrible. He said it's kind of fun. Still laughing on her way out.
Shot down on a Friday.
This is, oh gosh, guys.
One downed airman.
There's really
Evaded capture
no
from
words for this.
One downed airman. Evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder, his first message was simple and it was powerful. He sent a message, God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God is good. One downed airman, evaded capture for more than a day.
Guys. Okay, so that is kind of from Iron Man, the movie. The president standing right. I mean, we can't make this. We can't make it up.
Scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally to activate his emergency transponder, his first message was simple and it was powerful. He sent a message, God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God is good. One downed airman.
But as soon as I seen the news and knew that a helicopter had, or not helicopter, a fighter jet had been shot down and one got away and one was, I stressed it and was sad and yeah. At this point, I'm starting to question, are we even in a war with Iran? I mean, somebody needs to contact Iran so we can actually get the fucking truth about our own government. I don't believe this was all a psyop. It's gross. Gross. They're playing us like we're stupid. I mean, I bought it. Candace, my editor has informed me that this narrative is identical to the opening scene of the movie Iron Man. Now, I submit to you, I actually went and looked at the damn opening scene and Googled it and ChatGPT'd it, and it is dang close. Not word for word. Yes, that's how I feel. So gross. I mean, got up there trying to be poetic. It's so gross. They're so cringy. They got serious. We have serious issues as a nation. We have serious issues. Oh, okay. This should be interesting. Adam Bartholomew is posting, and then Jack Posobiec reposted 112 pages of the files in Charlie Kirk murder have just been released to Daily Caller by UVU. We're gonna go there together, guys. Oh, good God. Really no. So system event, new member added, and shared all chat history. Has asked me to put together a small reopening ceremony for the courtyard. It's tentatively slated for Wednesday at noon, and I want to make sure we loop your team in. I'll know more details later this morning. But President will speak, and there may be a song, and there will be releasing some doves. So likely to be fairly short, and let me know what else you need for me by way of information, and I'll keep you updated. Thank you for this information. We'll be there. Okay, I'm not really sure why the government would be, or they would release this. The Daily Caller or whoever else just said. I don't know if this is fake. I assume it is. I assume it's fake. Not even going to that. People are sick. I want to see about it. Nothing eye-opening, but just in case you want to look. Don't believe anything anymore. So much corruption in every direction. I'm with you, Deb. Conveniently, everything is redacted about the courtyard construction. Not suspicious at all. So, yeah, it must be something geared towards... I guess they're not getting the point of a gag order. Wasn't much of anything. Thanks for letting me know, and I didn't have to go through it all. Severely redacted. Dumb operation here. Why is UVU releasing any documents about Charlie Kirk murder? Seems odd, right? Who are they? Why would they even be allowed to? Why would they have them? Here's page 97 confirms it would have been highly unorthodox for an event in September and requested in June to be approved. You read any more bullshit? But yes, I thank you to all of those people on here that spared me having to go look at that. But again, just shows how shoving that narrative down our throat. They think that one day we're going to be like, oh, well, that makes sense. Yes. Oh, man. How did we miss that? Totally get it now. Not a chance. But it out. Zach Cressy, who was arrested and questioned on the afternoon Charlie Kirk was killed, but later released by investigators, can be seen here in the crowd. And I tell you, Zach Cressy is a family full of military people, and he is supposedly the one that is on the transmitting radio information about going hospital to hospital looking for Charlie.
Okay, now 5's a lot, right? I'm going to give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shootings there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Cool. This is so weird. So many people are releasing. Where are the police? What is happening here? What about my little SSD that I have all my originals on? This link here is the file from the USB-C. Rather sent not enough. Madness. What exactly are you trying? I find it strange that all of a sudden people are releasing. First of all, UVU. Why wouldn't the prosecutors or Utah be over there saying, excuse me, there is a current trial going on? It's like nobody knows what a gag order is, or simply just does not care. Yeah, I don't want to look at no fake ass moon. I don't know. I can't even, honestly, I don't even feel like this was real. Not yet. Not that I've seen. Right? Yeah, I haven't seen more. Why they don't like us, guys.
Wrongfully takes or uses it for personal gain. The key here is the violation of trust. The person accused of embezzlement is a type of theft, but it's a little different from stealing something outright. It happens when a person legally has access to someone else's money or property, like through a job or position of trust, but then wrongfully takes or uses it for personal gain. The key here is the violation of trust. The person accused of embezzlement didn't break in or steal from the outside. Instead, they were entrusted with the funds and then used them dishonestly. For example, if a nonprofit employee uses donated funds for personal shopping sprees, that's also embezzlement. Embezzlement can happen in many settings: businesses, government offices, charities, or even family situations. The amounts involved can range from small sums to millions of dollars. No matter the scale, it's considered a criminal offense, and consequences can include fines, restitution, and even jail time. Embezzlement is a type of theft, but it's a little different from stealing something outright. It happens when a person legally has access to someone else's.
Again, gross, cringy, and look like a couple ranches or the big houses that I showed on maps. Yeah. That for you. Actually, I mean, I would almost show this, but then I don't want to get dinged. I'm already, guys, I'm so buried in the algorithm right now because of the BB files in the live stream. So yeah, while we're here, please like and subscribe and share and turn on notifications. Like, subscribe, share, please. So I can bump me back up in the algorithm. And will have you know that I worked my ass off to
A little bit more disagreement.
those details on the Buckmans.
Got it. All right. Hi. Yeah. So just wanted to a few weeks ago.
Does anybody actually? It's like everybody's fake. We know that Frank is acting like he's on FaceTime, but he's not.
We're gonna have a little bit more disagreement. Got it. All right. Hi. Yeah. So just wanted to a few weeks ago.
Blake Bednar's, I don't know if you guys know who he is. He's on YouTube and X. So his theory is a little bit different than John Bray. He thinks that the necklace held the shape charge. John Bray believes it's the lapel mic. Both are very compelling, I believe. I believe it's one of the two. He wasn't shot. It's one of the two things that happened, I believe, in my opinion, allegedly. But Blake really has broke down frame by frame. Wouldn't doubt it. I mean, heck, the guy that's asking the final question to one of your besties is on a first name basis. Wouldn't surprise me. What Tucker has to say.
Watch. Praise be to. Who do you think you
I absolutely love it when Tucker gets upset. Well, I don't like him to get upset, but God, he's hilarious.
are? You're tweeting out the F word on. Who do you think you are? You're tweeting out the F word on Easter morning? You'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. So obviously you're mocking the religion of Iran. Okay. If you seek a religious war, that's a good idea. But by the way, no decent person mocks other people's religions. You may have a problem with the theology. Presumably you do if it's not your religion, and you can explain what that is. But to mock other people's faith is to mock the idea of faith itself. And we should never mock that, because at its core is the acknowledgement that we are not in charge of the universe. We did not build it. We won't be here at the end of it. We can destroy life. We cannot create it because we are not God. The message of all faith at the biggest picture level is the message in our Bible, which is you are not God. And only if you think you are do you talk this way. But it's not just mockery of Islam. And no president should mock Islam. That's not your job. This is not a theocracy. We don't go to war with other theocracies to find out which theocracy is more effective. We are not a theocracy. And God willing, we never will be, because theocracies corrupt the religion. No, this is a mockery not just of Islam, it's a mockery of Christianity. To send out a tweet with the F word on Easter morning promising the murder of civilians and then saying praise be to Allah without explaining any of it, you are mocking me and every other Christian because we're Christians. We can't support that. That is evil. That is an intentional desecration of beauty and truth, which is the definition of evil.
Amen. Not to mention, the war's been over 14 times, if according to him.
All of this is happening for their future, so they will be safe in years to come.
That's what we're fighting. We're fighting for children that are now in a war zone. We're keeping them as safe as we can possibly keep them. But we're fighting for their parents, their grandparents. We're fighting for...
Wouldn't have my kids nowhere not 15 miles from them and the Easter Bunny. And what a slap to veterans that actually went and fought for this country. To have these psyops going on and false flags just to mind manipulate us. And this guy is like all over me on X for some reason. Look into him after. Did anybody ever think that this is where we'd be in our country? Ran by New Jersey, the place the size of New Jersey. Speech being hindered. The president is clearly off his rocker. Clearly off his rocker. Not in his right mind. I almost wonder if he's been MK Ultra'd.
But is he coming up with the plan? No, of course not. He's got a weekend show on Fox. But it's useful to watch what he says. In fact, the president of the United States himself has said this. Watch Mark Levin on Saturday night. You think Trump is dumb? You think he's doing this to juice Mark Levin's ratings? No. It's not possible to increase the ratings of someone nobody wants to watch.
Facts.
The point is to send a message. That's not a conspiracy theory. It's true. Levin's show, written probably not by Levin, which has almost no viewers, has been a place where the future is revealed in its broadest outline. It's a place to test ideas. It's a place to announce obliquely what's going to happen. And his most recent show should get you sitting bolt upright in your chair. And yes, this ran this weekend, Easter weekend, as if the defiling of beauty couldn't be more obvious. Easter week, could you pick another weekend to give the finger to Christianity other than Easter weekend? Apparently not. In fact, of course you couldn't. That's the point. Do it on Easter.
Absolutely.
Anyone who will accept this will accept any humiliation.
Tucker, now you got me curious. Let's see what the little short micro penis guy said. Haven't been on Twitter or X. I was sick, but I also got sick of seeing all the bullshit on here. What are we talking about, Tucker? I mean, this guy posts so much. what he's talking about. Well, why was the spiritual advisor released from jail? Oh, he served a whopping 6 months for molesting a 12-year-old girl.
After midnight, after completing the 6 months. Trump's former spiritual advisor has been released from jail after serving just 6 months for molesting a 12-year-old girl. Robert Morris, the 64-year-old founder of Gateway Church, one of the largest megachurches in America, walked out of an Oklahoma jail just after midnight after completing the 6-month jail portion of his plea deal. Morris pleaded guilty last October to 5 counts of indecent acts with a minor. The offenses began on Christmas night in 1982 when Morris was a traveling evangelist staying at the victim's family home. Cindy Clemishire says she was molested over a 4.5-year period, starting when she was just 12. Morris served on Trump's Evangelical Advisory Board during his 2016 campaign and hosted Trump at his church in 2020, where Trump called him a great person with a great reputation. Under his plea deal, Morris received a 10-year suspended sentence, but served only 6 months. He must now register as an offender for life and serve 9.5 years of probation.
Probably is going to get a cushy job via Trump. That's awesome. 6 months. She endured 4.5 years of it, but 6 months. Is there anybody in the government that's not involved in the Epstein files and harming children? Anybody? Besides Thomas Massey. Tucker. Government. Oh, lost his mind. Poor Tucker.
The message in our Bible, which is you are not God. And only if you think you are do you talk this way. But it's not just mockery of Islam. And no president should mock Islam. That's not your job. This is not a theocracy. We don't go to war with other theocracies.
So this is Graham Allen reposting saying that Tucker has lost his mind. Rightfully so. As every and all other Americans should be losing their mind at this shit show that's happening in our government. The more that is coming out about this pilot rescue, it's looking like a massive disaster of failed operation that the Pentagon is lying about and had nothing to do with rescuing a general. Independent journalists need to prod this Top Gun narrative. This might explain why Trump was enraged on Easter and demanding an end to the satellite imagery. And as you can see, the only people that are on here and all about that is TBUSA. Andrew Colbert, Blake Neff, all the other little slimy of garbage. Won't the Pentagon tell us who was on Pete Hegseth's Sam jet when it flew directly over the exploding AES plant on October the 10th and was over Fort Huachuca September 8th and 9th? same U.S. military VIP jet that Pete has documented flew directly over Fort Huachuca on September 8th and 9th, 2025, then flew directly over the AES explosive plant in Tennessee on October the 10th. The exact day it exploded, killing 16 workers with flames were still burning. Who was on the plane? Why was the Secretary of Defense linked aircraft circling the exact locations on those exact dates? We know Hegseth was using SAM and VIP transports for official travel. Flight radar is public and tracks don't lie. So why is the Pentagon, the media, and every fact checker completely silent on who was actually aboard? This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a flight path. We deserve transparency. Can't make this up. Can't make it up. Disgusting. When does it end? When? We have got to come together and fight to get our country back. This person learned an active shooter alert went out 88 minutes after. You know, weird.
Good morning.
Audience, guys, don't get yourself involved in that. There is a rise of, I just think, some disgusting stuff online. That there's this like dark Jew hate out there. And you see it and I see it. I hate it. It's not good. Yeah. And everyone in this audience, guys, don't get yourself involved in that. I'm telling you, it will rot your brain. It's bad for your soul. It's bad. It's evil. I think it's demonic. We also agree this Jew hate stuff has no place in public discourse, period. End of story. And I don't like it. It's disgusting. And we need to call it out when we see it. There is a rise of, I just think, some disgusting stuff.
Heritage Foundation just released cell phone data of a mysterious figure who made frequent trips between Trump shooter Thomas Matthew Crook's home and a building in D.C. near an FBI office. We are witnessing the first ever coup in the history of the United States. Can't believe nothing. Can't believe nothing. See a whole lot of Candace bashing right now. It must be because she's off. That crushy or not? Does kind of look like him.
Throw him out if you don't. I don't give a fuck about Iran either. Sorry. Throw him out if you don't like him. It has nothing to do with me. And the fact that the idea that I have to give a flying fuck, you should be standing with Iran. Shut the fuck up. Will you shut the fuck up? If they want to throw the bums who run Iran out, throw them the fuck out.
Hi, son. How's it going? This is what happens when you start getting on something close and on their nerve. They block you. Not me, but whoever that person was. Not really sure why Blake has a problem with Candace right now and why he's releasing what he is, but it is what it is. God. There's no way. Wait a minute. So you're telling me that Dan Bongino's wife was working for Turning Point USA while he was an assistant director of FBI? You cannot make these conflict of interest up. Has everyone just lost their mind? Okay, did not know that either.
I think I've told you this story way before Charlie was tragically murdered. My wife is friends with Andrew and was friends with Charlie because she handled all the schedule items. So Andrew would reach out to her. Like, they talked more than I did about events. We've known Andrew forever. Andrew and Charlie were like this. Anyone who knows Charlie knows that. And they were both tall and looked alike. Sometimes down the hall, Charlie had bigger hair, but sometimes my eyesight's not so great. I confuse the two. You're going to
Well, that explains why he arrests all the wrong people.
listen to him providing you facts and actual data points, or are you going to listen to others out there? I think I've told you this story way before Charlie was tragically murdered.
No.
My wife is friends with Andrew and was friends with Charlie.
No, you definitely
because
did not. I think that's a conflict. Dan Bongino should have been a conflict. This looks like three raging bitches right here, does it not? All big mad. Not even clicking on that. Melania says they're bombing children for their futures. Well, gosh. Does anybody feel like he's like Sleepy Joe?
Who, of course, championed Operation Warp Speed, right? Pushed for the acceleration of getting this horrible.
And he's still dug in on these products being one of his great achievements. That's
what I was going to ask you. I mean, I just can't wrap my head around it. I mean,
it is a fact. And it's a reality here. And will the secretary be allowed to pursue the truth? Will people within the FDA that know what actually happened be allowed to pursue the truth. A senior FDA leader was down on my farm just a couple of days ago sharing stories about what was observed by this person this person joined the Trump administration and Trump won about halfway through, was in the agency all the way through the Biden years, remains in the agency now, and has detailed understanding of what transpired. The stories are amazing. I'll just say it's going to make a great book one day, I hope. But beyond that, the moral transgressions, the corruption, the distortion of data, the falsification of data, the suppression of key findings, such as the pediatric deaths that are not being allowed to be released to the public.
Who's blocking that? So children deaths because of COVID-19 shots, that's being suppressed?
The name is Marty.
Marty Makary.
Yeah.
So you've named a few names now. Heidi Overton, Marty Makary. Really?
Who testified to Congress about against, mandates, vaccine mandates.
Yeah, so I really, there's a lot of dynamics that are going on. There is a huge amount of rumor mill going on about the reorg. As you know, there was just a major reorg at HHS with promotion of some key leaders from within the CMS group that's been so effective under Dr. Oz's leadership to positions where they're functionally chief operating officer for HHS. There's just been a major amount of change within the overall sixth floor operation. And of course, now we have a case where the nominated Surgeon General is not going to clear Senate approval. And so that's another issue.
I just want to put up, so just to be clear, Heidi Overton here, one of the big blockers of the MAHA movement. You mentioned Marty Makary, and you mentioned these pediatric childhood deaths from COVID shots, COVID-19 adverse effects. Have you seen that data? Can you tell us, you've seen the data. Can you tell us how many childhood deaths in the United States that they're blocking and hiding?
We don't know that answer. We don't know that number. What we do know is that there was a number of deaths reported in VAERS that were identified by Tracy Beth Hogue when she first came in as the FDA CDC ACIP liaison person. She's now the acting director of the Center for Drug Evaluation and Research, CDER. So Tracy Beth Hogue went through, found a number of cases, drilled in on those cases, and found a half dozen that were incontrovertible. Those passed through re-review, I think twice at FDA. There was, Vinay, you'll recall, disclosed that this existed. But then suddenly there was silence about all of this because there was a decision not to disclose, because those cases are extremely troubling in terms of how they were handled within the CDC. Frankly, there has been significant cover-up all the way through the COVID crisis of a series of issues, not the least of which is the DNA adulteration. But that is what the record shows, and the leadership right now is not willing to allow that information to become public.
Wow.
I guess that will be public when the rest of the Epstein files will be public. I am grateful that my children and my husband and I did not go for the vaccine. Well, not all my children. The ones that were in Michigan actually did. And my sister, unfortunately, she got it. And she is, I think, currently reaping the side effects from that vaccine now. I know I got a text from her the other day. She's going to see a pulmonologist for nodules on her lungs, which I think is common for people that got the COVID vaccine. I am grateful that we didn't. It makes me sad that she did. A couple of the boys did. I don't know. This is just a shit show. So COVID was all nothing more than a nifty, harsh flu. Terrified people into staying in their homes and isolation. It's one thing right after another. Literally, we are being bombarded with one thing right after another. And I think Trump is loose lips right now, pissed off because America is starting to see and they're starting to call him out, which I think is great and a good first step in the right direction. But it's going to take more than that. Take way more than that. This is our country. We have the power to take it back. It's just we have to do it in numbers. It has to be done in numbers. Strength in numbers. It's just gross. It's disgusting. It's sad. Disturbing. I mean, of this, only thing that I see good that could possibly come out of any of this, that is all, in my opinion, created by the government, is that Brian Cole Jr. has a defense team that is not willing to play ball with the government. And hopefully Shawnee takes her rightful place in Brian Cole's seat, because let's face it, I mean, she's CIA. Just because you're CIA, I mean, and then it begs you to question, why did she do it? Why? I mean, surely nobody believes that she went and did it on her own, planted one at the RNC, one at the DNC. Why did she do it? Was that her initiation to get in to be CIA? We want to know. Is there really a war going on in Iran? We have no clue. For all we know, there is nothing going on. That's why they're so tight-lipped and refusing to allow media over there. God only knows what they're planning next. That's the scary, shitty part. One knows. And if you're somebody that is in the way, they just apparently will mow you right over. Gotta go. Charlie Kirk. Don't know, guys. Disheartening. Scary. But I have hope. Definitely have hope. I got hope with actually quite a few things. Our younger generations, the college students, are not just taking this anymore. They're questioning everything, which is good. And the truth is coming to light. They're not getting over on us anymore. We're seeing this for what it is. And now we just got to take action. We can do it. We got to take action. Take our country back. And I am going to end tonight on that note. And tomorrow, hopefully, I will be back. I will be able to finish what research I've been doing. And I'll be back on tomorrow. More connections. I mean, there's so many connections. It's just, it's so hard to even lay it out. One in particular that I would like to mention. Jeb Jacoby is, if everybody remembers, the kid that was on the inside of the building that was trying to do an interview and people came up and stopped him and he was like, "Get the F off of me." And that's Jeb Jacoby. Everybody thought he was strange and wanted to know everything about him. And I ended up researching him, and I think he's just as much victim as anybody. Well, definitely not as Charlie, but yeah. I can't get into that too much without giving away personal information on him. But I'm going to try to get him on for an interview. And his story is sad. Definitely a sad story. It hurts my heart. It does. So yeah, I'm going to end it on that note tonight, guys. I hope everybody has a good rest of your night. And I'll see you again tomorrow, hopefully. And I am going to work on, I think I'm going to get Jeb on here. I think he would be a good person to talk to. And I think the dynamic between hearing him and understanding very telling. So everybody, please like and subscribe. Get me back up in the algorithm. I'm struggling here. They have bumped me down in algorithm because I got a big mouth and I talk about things that you're not supposed to talk about. So please like, subscribe, share. Hit the notifications for when I'm going live. And if you hear that noise, that's the cat trying to get in. Cat is trying to bust down my doorway. No, it's her. By the way, Ray, are the police gone? Taco Bell lady? Any updates that you want to share? Bill, I am glad to see that you are back, and I'm glad I'm back. We definitely, the first show that we came back, everybody was like, where was Bill? No Bill? Second show, no Bill. So, quite pleased to see that you're back today, Bill. And I will work on trying to get a better schedule. Oh, good God. Is our car really damaged? Or the other person's? Yes. So, couldn't see any. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get off of here, get to work on getting back here tomorrow. And I enjoyed tonight. I'm sorry I didn't see Diana. I miss Lainey. I think that's because of my schedule or lack of schedule. Glad you're here, Bill. Nice to see you here, son. And let's do this again tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Like, subscribe, notifications, share, please. Thank you. Love y'all. Good night.